Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World review. Today we're taking a look at the new Dinoscape Brooklynn and Monolophosaurus Dino Pack. Yeah, I know I'm late to the party reviewing this set. I had a lot of trouble trying to find this Brooklynn set and the Darius with the Brachiosaurus. A lot of people online have been saying, Macy's is the place to find these, and I kept checking my local Macy's every day for at least a couple weeks straight. Didn't find any of the figures, and they did restock with their Jurassic World stuff. I saw some new figures there, but never saw these human packs show up. Well, apparently my Macy's has two toy sections. The main one's on the second floor, and they have another smaller section on the first floor on the other side of the where the sunglasses are. So the other day when I was leaving, I came into the store a different way, and I'm walking past the other side of the sunglass area, and there's a whole stack of these figures sitting there, and they've definitely been there for a while. I can just tell some of the Darius figures were ripped open and some of the accessories were missing. So yeah, I pretty much wasted 2 weeks of my life, and I probably could have found them probably within the first couple of days of me actually searching for them. But I'm glad I finally have them in hand. I don't have to walk into Macy's anymore, thank God. So if you're still looking for this set, apparently Macy's is the place to find them. Maybe you have a situation like mine where there's two different toy sections, so definitely check all areas of your Macy's and maybe you'll get lucky and find them. These last couple of sets have been a real pain to get their hands on, but I'm finally happy that I crossed these off my list. So anyways, let's just go over the packaging really quick. Comes in the Dinoscape packaging. You got Darius down here with the Dinoscape logo. Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous up here. You got Toro the Connosaurus blocked by the Monolophusaurus tail. You got the Smash Paddock fence in the background, and then turn the package over. You get a picture of Brooklyn with the Monolophusaurus with the scooter accessory, and then down here you have the other figures available in the wave. They also had a lot of Sammy Dino packs at my Macy's, and just a few of the Darius, and I did pick up the Darius figure, so we'll be reviewing that one shortly on the channel. Mattel did trick me into finally buying a double of Darius because I really wanted that green baby Brachiosaurus. So enough about the packaging. Let's crack the set open and take a closer look. So let's start with a nice 360-degree view of this set. The main reason you're going to pick this up is to get Brooklyn to complete your Camp Cretaceous camper collection. She turned out okay. She's definitely better than Darius. I just consider Darius the worst of the camper figures. They really need to resculpt him, but I just rank her just above him. She's not perfect. There's, some of the features on her face are kind of soft looking, but for the most part looks like Brooklyn, and that's all it needs to be. Like the little scooter accessory she comes with, it's a repack of the scooter that came with Kenji. And the Monolophusaurus, it's a decent figure. I still much prefer the Battle Damage and Savage Strike mold. I just feel like the head sculpt on there, it's just kind of goofy looking, especially with those jumbo oversized teeth. The paint scheme is really simplistic. The main body is just a rusty orange color. You just have a little bit of gray markings on the head and the mid part of the body, and a lot of gray on the bottom of the feet, which looks really, really weird. So all in all, it's a decent set. It's, in my eyes, it is worth the $15 because we can finally complete our camper set. So enough about talking about these figures. Let's take them off the turntable and do some measurements. And for measurements, Brooklyn is just about 3.5 inches tall, and the Monolophusaurus, if you measure it along the curve of the tail, is about 8 inches long and about 3.5 inches tall to the top of the neck. So there's a couple size estimates for Monolophusaurus. It's estimated between 16 to 24.5 feet long, so you have like an 8-foot swing on this thing. So with those size estimates, that'll put this figure somewhere in the 124 to the 136 scale range. So even at its smallest size estimate, it still is a little too small to scale with most of the line. Now, before we take a closer look at these figures, let's take a look at the one accessory you get inside the pack, the scooter. It is cast in a light blue plastic. Couple paint apps on here. You do have some gray for the grip pad on the bottom. There's a peg right here for the foot to peg into. A little gray on the handlebars, and you have two little gray paint apps right here. And I never noticed this before on the Kenji scooter, but I noticed when I took this one out of it. The handlebars are sculpted like a Brachiosaurus head. So those gray paint apps are the eyes, and this right here is supposed to represent the neck. So that's pretty cool, keeping with the Jurassic World theme of pretty much everything on the island. The wheels are cast in gray, and they do rotate. So that is enough about the scooter. Let's take a closer look at the Monolophusaurus and Brooklyn. So first up, let's take a look at Brooklyn. I think she turned out pretty decent. Her face does look a little off to me, and I think part of the reason is the hair right here along the edges is not painted. It's just the same color as her face, and I just think if a little extra, care and time was given and that was painted in, the face will look a tiny bit better. And I don't know if it's I don't think it's a one-off. I think it's on most of the figures because there was 8 of these packs at my Macy's and all the faces look like that. So I don't know if it was like a batch that missed this paint app or it's just like all of them are like that across the board. If you have this Brooklyn figure, let me know if the hair is unpainted on your figure like it is on mine. You can see her hair is painted a bright pink. I kind of wish they'd make another version of her like be on the island for a while with her roots coming in. I think that would add a lot more depth to this figure. She has her pink zip-up hoodie on. You can see a little bit of orange of her shirt underneath. She has her black pants on with the rips in them. With skin is painted nicely on there. No sloppy paint on the ripped jeans. You got a black wristband. And then turn around the back. You got details on the back of the butt with the pockets. And then you can see her pasty white ankles right here with her white sneakers. Now for articulation on this figure, you do heads on a ball joint, and you do get a little side to side movement. You can turn side to side, you can look down just a tiny bit and up a little bit. Arms can stick out to the side, rotate 360 degrees. You get just about 90 degrees of bend at that elbow, and there is another swivel joint in there. You do get waist rotation. Figure can do the splits. And at the knee, you get about 90 degrees of bend at the knee and a little rotation with that swivel joint. So, since this review is a little bit later than most reviewers, I'm sure most of you have seen the Hammond collection revealed, and we're finally getting, heavily articulated dinosaur figures are in scale with these figures, and they did show off an Ian Malcolm figure that has a lot of articulation. So I really hope they go back and give us the campers over again. Yes, we're gonna have to rebuy a lot of figures, but I will definitely enjoy the extra articulation. This is what Mattel should have done from the start with the Amber collection. Instead of making it 1/12 scale, she just stuck with the 1/18 scale because they were never ever going to do any of the larger species in the Amber collection. So yeah, pretty divisive topic, but when I do my top 5 Jurassic World video, I'll talk more about my thoughts on the Amber collection and the Hammond collection. So next up is this Monolophusaurus. Like I said, it's a decent figure. I'm just really not a big fan of the head sculpt. I just don't like those big goofy looking teeth. And the paint apps on this figure are pretty sparse. You got the single crest right here, which is what helped name Monolophusaurus. The eye is painted yellow with a black pupil. It's nice to actually see the pupil painted in because Mattel has been pretty hit or miss on that. Those big goofy teeth are painted in an off-white color. Inside the mouth is painted in pink with some gloss to give it that wet look. The roof of the mouth is just the same color plastic as the rest of the figure. You do have some black specks mixed in with the plastic to give it a little bit more definition. You have some light gray paint apps along the crest. Side of the neck, you got these large spikes on the back of the neck, and those spikes go all the way down to the very tip of the tail. Some more sparse paint apps on the main body. The hand claws are not painted in, but like I say a million times during these videos, very typical of most Mattel figures. And then going down to the legs, they're just painted gray for whatever reason. That just looks really lazy and sloppy. I would definitely prefer just to have the orange for the feet instead of this random gray color. And since we're talking about the feet, let's turn the figure over so you can see the facts app for those who want to scan it into it. And then going down to the tail, the short tail curves off to the side, and that is it for the Monolophusaurus. So let's move on to articulation for it. Mouth can open up that far and it can close almost flush. Just there we go. The teeth will actually hold it in a little bit with friction. Neck joint, you can look up, you can look down, you can go 360 degrees with it. Arms move up, arms can move back, legs can do a full 360. And then at the tail, you have, rotation at the tail. Like I always say, wish there was a hinge joint in there so the tail can swing side to side, because that rotation is just absolutely, completely useless. So now that we've taken a closer look at these figures, let's move on to comparisons. All right, first up, here it is with the Wild Pack Baby Brachiosaurus. And next up, here it is with Pierce the Kentrosaurus, the new star of Season 4. And here it is with most of the other Monolophusaurus that have been released in the line. As you can see, we've got a lot of figures of this species. The only one missing from this set is the green battle damage one that came with the T-Rex way back in the day when Fallen Kingdom came out. Some of these figures are better than others. I just really don't like the two that came with Brooklyn and Kenji. I still think the best looking one is this really hard to find battle damage one. I just think the proportions, the head sculpt, and the articulation, it's the best of the bunch. And yes, don't worry, I do have the new Fierce Force one, which I will be reviewing on the channel shortly. And let's do a couple of larger species. Here it is with the Spinosaurus. And here it is with the Danger Pack Scorpius Rex. And lastly, let's do it with the Extreme Choppin Spinosaurus. And of course, we can't finish up this review without having Sammy reunited with her fellow campers. And they look absolutely great together. You know, some figures turned out better than others. I still think Darius is the worst one, but remember, his figure came out way before the show aired, so they're probably working off some older concept art. So he definitely needs a resculpt, and he has to come without that stupid yellow jacket that he only wore for like 1 or 2 episodes in season 1. And while we're at it, definitely need a season 1 version of Ben before he went all Lord of the Flies. Sammy, Kenji, and Yaz are still probably the best 3 figures out of these. Kenji is definitely the #1. He looks the best. Looks like he just jumped right off screen. But it's finally nice to have the campers completed, and I can stop going to Macy's and fighting the perfume ladies trying to get to the toy department. So final thoughts on this set. It really doesn't matter what I have to say about it. Most people are just picking this up to get Brooklyn. It's the only way you can get your hands on a Brooklyn figure to complete your camper set. She turned out okay. I just really not a fan of those missing paint apps on the sides of her face. Just makes her face look really weird. It'd probably look a lot better if she's had a little bit more pink to the edges of her hair. The Monolophusaurus is just an okay figure. No really sparse paint apps, you know. Head sculpt with those big stupid teeth. The Savage Strike and Battle Damage Monolophusaurus are definitely the far superior mold of the species. And like I said a couple times during this review, the easiest way to find this set is at Macy, so keep checking them. Hopefully you'll get lucky. And these figures are just really not showing up online. I've had the Brooklyn and Darius set saved to my Amazon list, and I've not seen them pop up for retail in weeks. It's just always up there for the stupid like $30, $35 scalper prices. And you know, a lot of toy lines always run into this problem when it's time for the end of the line. Like Dinoscape is almost over. We're about to roll into a movie year, so you know, Dominion's coming out, and just stuff at the end of a series. It's just always tough for collectors to find. I always run into that issue while I'm collecting Transformers. You know, stuff right at the end before they run into the next series. It's just absolutely impossible to track down. And speaking of tracking down, I still can't find that stupid, you know, Shringosaurus and the Tanysaurophilis, whatever it's called. I keep messing that name up. I'll eventually get it right. I've never paid scalper prices for any figures in the Mattel Jurassic World line, but man, I am getting really close to doing that because I just cannot track them down. Even though I think both figures are hideous, they're new species, and I just have to add them to my collection. So that will do it for the review. I still got the Darius set to review, the Fierce Force Monolophusaurus. I have the new Roar Attack Battle of Big Rock Allosaurus. That should be here any day now. So be on the lookout for those reviews. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.